Today, we have the honor to welcome Leslie and also Jacklyn from Sofia University. Leslie Bauer is the PDSO at Sofia University, and Jacklyn Kohls, she is the admissions counselor. Thank you so much for joining us today and welcome. All right, and today's agenda and topic, let's go with the topic first, is hybrid CPT information session, including the master's as well as doctoral programs for technology and non-technology fields. So our agenda include, but not limited to, major selections and SEVIS transfer process. Next, we'll be navigating the OPT to new CPT transfer process. And then it's master's and doctoral programs, which would be a better fit for you. And last but not least will be live Q&A with our Leslie, the PDSO, and Jacklyn, our admissions counselor. So we get you covered throughout the process. And during the process, our information session today, if you have any question, please utilize the Q&A box in your Zoom interface and make sure you put your questions right there. Our Q&A specialist, my colleague Shama Parveen, today will gather your question, and at the second half of the information session today, we'll get to your question one by one. And if you want to begin your application and have more personalized question, please don't forget to scan these QR codes at the bottom right here. If you speak English, you can scan the QR code to talk to us on WhatsApp. If you prefer to speak in Chinese, we also have team will help you on WeCom. I think that's WeCom or WeChat. Thank you so much. All right, let's get started. So first about who we are as Go Elite. Our office is located in Los Angeles. We're in Pasadena, right next to Caltech. We're a professional consulting agency dedicated to helping international students to thrive in the US. And your success is really our only mission here. And our services include, but not limited to, the university application, affirming statement or emergency transfer help, as well as change of status support. Our mission and vision statement, first is that our mission is make students' American dreams come true. And we also listed our vision in speaking to our mission. And our value is really putting international students first. And we're also proudly successfully certified by AIRC, which is the American International Recruitment Council from 2022. And ever since 2023 and 2024, we've been not only certified by AIRC, but also probably the major sponsor for the event, for their conference every year. And it's one of the most respectable organizations in the American education industry. And again, we're just feeling very grateful and lucky that we get certified, just to testify our reliability. And again, something we do for our students, not only help you throughout the enrollment process, we also care about how you're doing at your schools. That's why we curate this rewards program for you to use. And all you need to do is just sign up with your school emails. And you can earn points like by confirming your enrollment or joining our group chats or just share about your university experience on social media. Even by referring your friends, you get 200 points, and each of those points you can redeem into $1. Those could be Visa prepaid gift card, Amazon, and Starbucks, you name it. We also have Go Elite Forum, which is the place we're trying to build as competitor to Reddit. That's the big mission statement for this project. So on the platform, we encourage people to discuss topics like their transfer progress and their selection progress of the program, and etc. So if you want a vibrant community for international students, I think you'll be at the right place if you join our forum. And last but not least would be our testimonial on Google Map. If you search Go Elite on Google Map, you realize we have more than 500, or even the number is close to 6 right now, 5.0 all-star achieved. And these are real people coming from like our previous clients, which are very proud of. And we're, of course, on social media, so come and find us and have some fun. And that will be all for Go Elite. And for Leslie, whenever you are ready.
Thank you so much, Alice. Let me share my screen. Thank you guys for having me today. I'm very excited to share our CPT information. Let's see. Okay. Hopefully everyone can see my screen, right?
Yes, we can. And thank you so much.
Sure. So my name is Leslie. I'm the point of contact with the International Student Office at Sofia University. And from the time the students admitted till after graduation with OPTs, STEM extension, different questions about changing status, we're there for the students. So we're very involved with the students in beyond the Sofia experience. So we're very happy to do that. And today I'll be talking about basic how to transfer your SEVIS record to Sofia, how to maintain your F1 status. CPT is always a very important topic for students. And we have our two courses, our WIL and BIP courses, and how to qualify for that. So you can start to set your goals for the CPT program. The basic CPT documents and guide, and what to expect in your CPT or WIL course, and also some reminders about how to conduct yourself during the class, what's expected of you, and different deadlines and dates and stuff like that. So, and of course, I can answer any questions afterwards. So our International Student Office team, we have 3 full-time DSOs, 2 besides myself, and then we have a seasonal DSO now. So we have a little bit bigger of a team than we used to. We're all pretty new. We've all been here for under 6 months. So we're very full of spirit and wanting to help the students. And what's really popular with the students is receiving this enrollment guide. And of course, admissions works with the students. When they get to our department, once they're admitted, we help them through these 12 steps. So first they pay the application, and then if they're admitted, they pay the acceptance fee. Once the student receives their Sofia email, that's what they have to rely on to communicate. So when the DSOs or PDSO sends you information, sends you a Form I-20 update, it'll be all in your Sofia email. So make sure you keep in contact with that. You will work with us to upload your I-20 documentation. And then when that's all set, we will help you schedule your SEVIS transfer. Whether you're coming from overseas or transferring from within the US, we could help you sort of dissect all the different parts to that. It's relatively easy, but there are some different parts that are moving, and you want to help the students understand that. Once you have your SEVIS record transferred, we can help you apply for CPT, and you get your enrollment packet and register for the courses. We have a nice in-depth orientation, several orientations from Sofia University, but the International Student Office does as well. And after you pay tuition, you'll receive your Sofia University Form I-20. And for instance, the next quarter starts January 12th. That's our winter quarter, just for an example. Okay, so the deadline to transfer for this coming quarter is January 5th. And make sure that your record is in active status. If you have questions about that, we have a lot of time where we can meet one-on-one with students and answer their individual questions. We can also do open advising. We do that on some weekends, and then maybe a lot of students have the same questions, so we can answer them all at the same time. Just note that if you are on OPT or the STEM extension and you're transferring, you won't be able to keep working once your SEVIS record is transferred. You'll have to wait until the CPT start date with Sofia. So there might be a gap, maybe a week or 2 in your work authorization for the first time. However, once you're enrolled in Sofia, you're a continuing student, and you've followed the new deadlines that we give you, you can have a seamless CPT experience where you can end CPT and then start the next day for the next quarter. In other words, there's no gap. So, and we send out reminders and we help you with your application documents to be mindful of that. Let's see. Make sure that you know about your 60-day grace period if you're already an F1 student. If you need to travel between your previous school and Sofia, reach out and talk to us. If you're on your STEM OPT, mention that, and I can help advise you on how to finalize your STEM OPT I-983 form with your former school. If you're a new F1 student who's currently abroad, there are a couple new things going on. And what we can do is you can always email us. It's dso@sophia.edu. And you can email us for any kind of CVIS related or F1 related questions. But one thing we do provide is a mock interview visa prep session. And then when your visa is approved, hopefully you'll send a copy to the DSO email, confirm your arrival date, and then we'll help you with the pre-arrival procedures. A new note that students are reporting to us is that when you are applying for a renewal of your visa or a fresh visa, you are asked to provide the URL to all your social media, and you are required to provide your resume. That doesn't mean every officer will ask. It's just good for students to know so they're not caught off guard. If you're a brand new student from overseas, you will have to complete 3 quarters at Sofia University in order to be eligible for CPT. If you're already in the US or even abroad, you're changing to F1 from another status, then you will be applying with USCIS or immigration before your current status expires. And we are there for you if you receive a request for evidence, your approval notice, any communication with USCIS, and you need us to look at it, just send it to us. We can help look into that further and assist you with any documents you need. And then let's see, we can help you with the start date for your studies at that time as well when you're approved. And again, for this qualification of students, you'd have to complete 3 quarters of full-time study at Sofia in order to be eligible for CPT. Okay, maintaining status. Maintaining status is something that we remind you of. We send students reminders all the time. We remind you in orientations. We remind you with email blasts. And the number one thing is enroll in a full course of study, and we will guide you, and the registrar will guide you. And your academic advisor will guide you on how to exactly maintain that. And the important thing is if you need to reduce your courses or you're having trouble in a course, come to ISO and talk to us about it, and we'll figure out how to work with you on that. See, note that the CPT courses are no credit. It does not count toward a full course of study, but it is required. So it's very helpful for the students. It fosters a lot of community with the students. It prepares them for the future. It really helps them network, of course, and it applies to their will or BIP courses. It's just a really wonderful experience that Sofia provides. Further maintaining status, please maintain good attendance and participate, maintain good grades. Don't work unless you have your CPT form I-20 right there and the date has passed. Make sure you let us know before you start a new job, travel, if you need a medical leave of absence, or as I said before, a reduced course load. Communication is the best way to maintain your status. And if anything changes, of course, as things may be changing right now, we always communicate with the students as things come up. If your address or contact information changes, just again, email us DSO and we will update your SEVIS record. If your visa status changes or you've applied and you've petitioned for another status, just let us know, especially when it gets approved so we can deactivate your SEVIS record. And one thing that not a lot of students know, make sure your passport is always good for at least 6 months in the future, because if you try to travel back to the US and the passport is not good for 6 months in the future, you might have trouble re-entering the US. So it's not really the expiration date, it's the expiration date needs to be 6 months in the future. Now for the CPT information, which is what a lot of students contact us about, I think the majority. We have courses that correlate with CPT. So for the master level, it's WIL courses, and for the DBA level, it's the BIP courses. And it's basically practicum where you're putting into practice what you're learning, and it's directly related to your program. And you do need to reapply each term, but as I said before, there won't be that gap in employment once you are a student. When you're continuing student, as long as you follow our deadlines, reach out to us with any questions so things don't get delayed, then you can just maintain that seamless experience. CPT is only for F1 students. So make sure that if you're recently approved for F1 or you're brand new into the US as F1, you do need to complete 3/4 of full-time study before applying for CPT. If you're a transfer student and you've already been studying in the US for over 3/4, talk to us. You're probably eligible to start day one. And good academic standing is very important. Make sure your GPA is 3.0 at the very minimum. And it's always good to know what positions are accepted for your CPT. For like a business degree, you do have that luxury of a wide variety of job descriptions. It just has to be directly related to your major. And it has to demonstrate that you're learning on the job what you're learning in the class. So when you submit the paperwork to us with the offer letter and the CPT application, we can look that over, give recommendations, and then your faculty advisor will look it over and authorize it. And then we put it on your I-20 and give it to you. So, and we have other webinars and meet with students over that during the quarters. So how to apply for CPT? See, we do give an application guide to any interested students. The required documents are the CPT application. We have one that has to be assigned by your academic advisor, yourself, and your supervisor. You'll also give us your job offer letter and job description. And sometimes it's the same document, all in the offer letter, but we interact with you frequently to make sure everything is acceptable. If you're entering Sofia as a winter 2026 student, you can start CPT as early as January 12th. That's the first day of the winter quarter, and the end date would be March 22nd. We take CPT applications all the way through the add drop deadline, which for this coming quarter will be January 20th. So you do have the luxury of time to find a position if you don't already have one. We do have resources for finding positions, although students are mostly, they have to rely on networking, or maybe they already have a position. We do have a SharePoint folder that we give you where you can upload your documents and then let us know when it's ready. And then within, the whole process should take within 10 business days to process that. But we open up the CPT application window early enough so that we can get it done in time. So some highlights, your CPT will have a start and end date. It'll be on page 2 of your I-20, and it'll be for specific employers. You can have more than one employer as long as you don't exceed 40 hours a week of work. But if you change jobs or if you add a job, you'll have to give us another application so we can add that employer to your Form I-20. We cannot backdate information, so just give it to us as soon as you can. And again, dso@sofia.edu is a very important email address to have. And make sure that you schedule your CPT so that you don't miss class for work, because that's unacceptable. So we want to make sure that that does not conflict with your classes. It's supposed to help the class. And never work without authorization. If you have any questions about it, of course, let us know. And again, just a little recap, important dates if you're planning on looking into winter 2026. On January 5th is the transfer in deadline for your SEVIS record. The earliest you can start CPT would be January 12th. So that means if you're a new student, you'd have a 1-week gap in employment for that first term. but after that, it should be seamless. You have all the way till the add drop deadline on January 20th to apply for CPT. And then the CPT will go all the way through the end of the winter quarter of March 22nd. And by then, you will already be applying for the spring, and we'll give you all the necessary resources for that. But just keep in contact with us. We're always happy to set up a one-on-one video, phone, or just email us. We're very happy to talk to you about any questions you might have, and hopefully we'll see you soon. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Leslie.
Thank you.
And yeah. So let me also share screen real quick for our Q&A session. I think Shama already collected about 20 questions on the Thank you so much for the great work. And just a final reminder, everyone here, please make sure to put your question in the Q&A session as we begin right now. And my colleague Shama will move your question to our sheet for our team to answer. And hi, Tania, nice to meet you. So let me share screen right now. Okay, you should be able to see our Q&A sheet put together by Shama. And our first question here today for our team, it would be, how can someone continue their current job when transferring from STEM OPT to CPT when to start application for day one CPT? Like how early one should apply, so the process would be smoother. Oh, let me break down the question a little bit more. So the first part would be transferring from OPT to CPT. I think that's more for Leslie, right?
So great question, very common question. If you're on STEM OPT, of course, you have until the end of your 60-day grace period to transfer to another school, start CPT. But if you're still on STEM OPT and you transfer, you will have to have that gap. It's usually about a week before starting your CPT. You cannot work before the program start date on your I-20 when you're transferring to a new school. However, we do provide the application materials ahead of time, communicate with you. Once you know when you're going to be transferred, usually waiting till the transfer deadline is pretty common because students want to work as long as they can. Then we can be in touch with you about any modifications you have to make to the application. And then you'll be all set to go for when your program start day comes, and you can have a day one CPT at that time. So the process is pretty smooth. It's smoother as a continuing student. And that's just in accordance with the regulations where you can't work between before your start date. So yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Leslie.
Sure.
And so to summarize, basically, you can't work while your SEVIS is being transferred out to Sofia. And usually what I've seen most of my students do is do unpaid leave. Some even do rehire. So Leslie, what's your like input on that? Like what should they do with their current position?
I think most students do unpaid leave. They can also do a rehire. Those are common. I think the unpaid leave is the most recommended and the way the most students go. And then if they've been at their current position for a while, they can just, instead of the offer letter, give us the employment verification saying, you know, I've been here since 2024 or whatever. And then just some proof that they took that week of unpaid leave. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much for providing the explanation. And I didn't know there's flexibility, like they can just provide a letter like that.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Next question we got is, will we get scholarship for D1CP programs? I think that's more of a question for Jacklyn and your team.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yes, we do offer some small scholarships ranging between 2,000 and 7,000 for each academic year. So we offer these to international students, we offer these to new students, and if you're a continuing student, you end up in the program and you continue studying with Sophia, we do have scholarships for as well.
Okay, so scholarship available for new and continuing students, right? Awesome. So usually how far ahead should they apply for the scholarship? Is there a deadline for it?
To well, we start opening them about a month before the the quarter starts. Or I'm sorry, 2 months before the quarter starts. And then students can apply for them once you are admitted and enrolled in classes for Sophia. So that deadline, yes, will open up shortly after you're admitted to Sophia.
Okay, awesome. And they will get a result also maybe 1 or 2 weeks into the semester, right?
Yeah, so you'll get the award letter usually within the first or second week of classes, and the award will be applied to your account by that second week.
That's directly applied to their tuition amount, right?
Yes.
We get a question a lot during our our conversation with students, like, "Oh, am I getting a check?" And we're like, "Oh, unfortunately, no. That's applied to your tuition."
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah. Just to clarify, yeah, that will be
yeah.
applied directly to their tuition. Mhm.
Thank you. And thank you, stores, for raising your hand, but unfortunately, we don't do raise hand Q&A. Instead, you can put your question in the Q&A section at the bottom of your Zoom interface, and we'll get to your questions. And thank you so much for participating. So thank you. And next will be, what are the CPT requirements for the DBA program at Sophia? Is there any difference between DBA or MBA? I think that's again more for Leslie.
Right. The application is the same. The course is just called the BIP course instead of the will course. So as long as you've been a student in F1 status for 3 quarters in the US, you're eligible to apply. My advice would be to get the CPT application and offer letter into us as soon as possible so we can start processing that. Other than that, it's just maintaining a full course load. It's exactly like the MBA program.
And the 3.0 GPA requirement throughout.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, definitely.
I think that 3.0 is for whether you use CPT or not, you still need to maintain that, right? For everyone.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's regardless of CPT.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. Next one, what will be the timeline that it takes for a civis transfer? I think lastly you mentioned it will be around at least a week.
Right. The SEVIS transfer, what students don't realize is Sofia University cannot go to a student's former school and bring in their SEVIS record. Your former DSO has to do that. If they have questions, we're happy to reach out. Usually if you just say, here's the SEVIS code for Sofia University, I want to transfer on this date, they'll just do that and they'll know. But it's just good to talk to us to know when that's a possibility for you. All your documents have to be in. And we have to think about, are you on work authorization? What's the best day to transfer before the deadline so that you don't have a big gap between employment periods? So I think the timeline for a SEVIS transfer could just be like a day or two. I think the CPT authorization was more like a week or two, but yeah, timeline for the transfer is very quick. The bigger school you go to will need more time.
Yeah, so at least budget a week for that. And we get similar questions a lot. Like they always assume like, oh, since I have like Sophia's admission, why can't Sophia do anything? Why can't I just take that?
Yeah, we can't just steal a student. Yeah.
Yeah, and they wish we,
Yes.
but it's just funny how we always try to explain that, and it actually makes sense, right? It's like when you're transferring membership from a place to another, but it doesn't
Yes,
exactly work like that sometimes.
exactly.
Cool. And one more thing to add, so students, your previous school may have different timeline. You need to look out for yourself when requesting that civics transfer out. I've seen some schools, they can work as fast as 3 days to release your civis, but some schools ask you to submit that request at least 10 days ahead of time. So that's definitely something students also need to look after when requesting their civis transfer out.
Yes.
So it's on both sides effort. Thank you. And next question will be, does Sophia allow CPT without an employer signature and without a corporate agreement?
Yes, we do. We have two different CPT applications. The regular one is signed by yourself, your academic advisor. and your supervisor. But we also know that some companies will not sign. So we have a separate CPT application just for those agreements that does not require your employer's signature. So if you know that you're going to have a job like that, just let us know and we'll send you that application. It's very simple.
Awesome. Thank you so much. We get this question also very often. And thank you, Leslie.
Sure.
Oh, next we have a combo of three questions. First, this person planning to join DBA in January next year, what role will qualify for the CPT, typical role for DBA? I think that would be for both Jacklyn and Leslie.
Right. Anything that has to, I mean, business is such a broad category. It depends if there's a concentration you're looking into. I think the best thing to do would be to discuss it with your faculty advisor or the program chair and see what you're interested in and see what job titles would be most beneficial to you.
Yeah, so maybe also read through the program page
Yes.
website to see. I remember the program page says something like it covers a very broad and welcomes different background students to join. So I think
Right.
it would typically work with most of the industries. So Jack,
Yes.
what do you think, and Tania?
Yes, it should work with most industries since we actually the prerequisite for the program, I guess this answers one of the questions below, but the prerequisite for the program is a bachelor's degree, and that can be in any field with at least a minimum GPA of 3.0. So yeah, it's very broad. I guess it kind of depends on what your bachelor's degree was in and if you plan to continue to work in the same field going forward.
Oh, Jacqueline, so to qualify for DBA, people don't need to have a master's, right? So
No, not necessarily, no.
wow, that is definitely
We,
something that set Sophia apart from the rest of partners we have.
yes.
Thank you so much for letting me know. I'll definitely let our team know too. I don't think we are pretty much aware of that yet. So thank you. Thank you, Jacqueline. I think you also covered the next question. Are engineering positions acceptable if they include yes? So yes. Next question for the question six, can I share my job description with DSO before I apply for a program? That is definitely for Leslie.
Right. Yes, you're always welcome to share any job descriptions or any other questions you have before you apply for the program. And part of the CPT application is we do require the job description along with the CPT application. So if you want to be really thinking ahead as an applicant and want to send it to us, that we'd be more than happy to look at that.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Ready to move on to next question we have. What is the civics transfer deadline for the May Start program? I think Leslie, you just showed that on the important dates page, right?
Yes, January 5th is for the winter. I do not have the spring dates yet, but they will be available very soon. Yeah,
Yeah,
but we're
and,
just looking at the winter. Yeah.
using January's as reference, it could be just 1 week before the semester start, right?
Yes, it usually is. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you so much. And next question will be, does the DBA program at Sophia have any prerequisite for admission? I think Jacqueline, you just mentioned it's just the bachelor's degree completion and 3.0 GPA, right?
Yes, that it's preferred that you have a master's degree though. So we definitely prioritize applicants that have master's degrees, um, preferably in a business or related field.
Mhm. Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Mhm.
And the rest of the requirement, like their transcripts, and their English language proficiency, as well as is there any like work experience that's taken into consideration or?
Yes, we like you to have at least 5 years of professional work experience, which is, I believe, pretty standard for most doctoral programs. And we only require an English proficiency score along with a foreign transcript evaluation only if your previous most recent degree was completed outside of the United States. If you've already completed a degree, especially your most recent degree in the United States, then you don't need to provide either of those.
Hey, thank you, Jacqueline. Next question, another combo question. What are the negatives of doing two first day CPT master program back to back at the same school? In this particular case, doing a master in engineering management and then doing a second master in MBA with concentration in applied AI and business. So I think this is from a current student at Sophia.
Okay. Right, I'll be happy to answer that. I
Yeah.
don't think the day one CPT would matter too much. Right now, there's no regulation against having a master degree and going for a second master degree. That could change. There's a lot of talk in the air about things. Nothing has been changed yet as far as policy. But there have been talks of if you have a master, you have to then study a higher degree level. So, but that is not in law, it's not in policy. So we would recommend just being a little cautious because in the future, if you want to renew your visa or even apply for another visa, USCIS might question why so many MBAs or why so many master's degrees. And then you'd have to answer that. So, but as far as policy, right now there's nothing, and we do keep you appraised of that.
So as long as they're able to answer and per
Yeah.
our working experience with students, those two masters, if you have to take it cannot be the same. So I'm thinking this person, if you're taking maybe a Master of Science, then it's generally considered okay to go for MBA, right?
Right. And at the same school, that's fine. Again, that might be questioned by USCIS at some point. So just be aware of that. Make sure you are able to answer that. But the day one CPT is not a negative. If you qualify for the day one CPT, then you can certainly apply. That's not an issue.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Mhm.
So next one would be, what documents do I need for the CPT application? I think you already mentioned that would be the cooperative agreement or the alternative document that you will send to them. And sorry,
The
anything
offer
else?
letter, job description. Yeah.
Yes. So all the documents that's job related to verify the job legitimacy. And the next one will be, how many days does it take for a CEVIS transfer for an existing F1 with expiring OPT? How long will a student have to stop working? I think that's relevant, quite same to the first question we have. So as a summary right here, it would be just 1 week for the CEVIS
Yes.
transfer or even under that. I heard it's just online kind of clicks through the CIVIS system, and the CIVIS will be transferred from the previous school to the new one, right?
Right.
Yeah, so it will be all up to your previous school how fast they can work on it, but typically within the week. And make sure to book it ahead of time. Okay, thank you. So next question, is it possible for someone to end STEM OPT on a Friday and then start a CPT by Monday following week so they get to work with the same employer, I think, seamlessly? So Leslie, what do you think?
Right. Unfortunately, this doesn't work because there's a SEVIS transfer deadline that we strongly adhere to. So you'd have that at least a week gap that first time, and then in the future, continuing as a Sophia student, you would not have a gap. But the best you could do was have that week off unpaid between the transfer of your SEVIS record and the STEM OPT would end, and then your CPT would start with Sophia.
Okay, well, thank you so much.
Mhm.
And next question, can I join DB as a web developer?
I can try to answer this. If I would suggest it sounds fine, just send us the job description, as part of the CPT application. If there's any questions, we can let you know if it needs to be revised in any way or if it's an unacceptable job. It seems like this would be fine. Just some more details would be appreciated.
Okay, thank you, Leslie. And Jacklyn and Tania, your team, do you have any maybe example of this or anything you want to add for this question?
I don't have anything to add for this. I think it would probably be best to just kind of, yeah, get that job description to DSO.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you so much. Next will be, can I pay monthly? I think that's definitely for you, Jacklyn.
Yeah, absolutely. So once you're admitted into the program, you can arrange with our student business office to do a monthly payment plan, and you do just have to sign up for that before the start of each quarter. So before that first day of classes. If you were going to join us for winter 2026, then you would want to reach out to our student business office before the tuition deadline, which is going to be the first day of classes, January 12th for winter.
Hey, thank you. So again, everyone, please make sure to plan things ahead. So next will be, is there an alternative way if my boss not willing to sign a CPT agreement? I think Leslie, you just mentioned that there's alternative document
Yes.
that you will require from them to substitute that, right?
Right. It's the same application. It's just does not require the supervisor's signature. So just let us know. It's very easy to do.
Okay, thank you. Next person here. Hi, I am a potential candidate for the change of status from H-1B to F-1. I'm currently in the US. Should I wait for 3 quarters in the program before starting my CPT?
Yes, you will have to wait for 3 quarters after you're approved for the change of status. So you have to be approved first, become an F1 student for 3 months, and then you can apply for CPT. Or for 3 quarters, then you can apply for CPT.
Great, thank you for pointing that out. So the clock
Yeah,
won't start until you're on F1.
exactly. Very important to know.
Okay. Oh, for this question, I do hear from some students they've already been on F1 before they're on H1B and they're switching back to F1. In this case, with the previous US degree, do they still need to wait for the 3 quarters or since they're
They would. Yeah, that's a tricky one. They're changing their current status is what matters. So they're H1B at this point. So then if they change back to F1, it's a fresh
Mhm.
start. And more than likely, it's a new SEVIS record, everything. So yeah, unfortunately, they have to wait.
Okay, got it. Thank you so much.
Mhm.
Moving on, next would be, does Sophia provide any job support for students?
Um, yes, the vast majority of the students have not asked for that. There's a network. They perhaps already have a position that they're maintaining. If the students cannot find a position for their CPT they have to do, you can reach out to us and we will direct you toward student support. And they do have um, some direction. It's not job placement though.
Mhm.
But there's a vast network. You can talk to other students, and there's a lot of students work for the same companies and everything like that. So I think that it should not be an issue. There's always a way to get support for that.
Got it. Thank you. With that being said, do we have a career services center or mentorship or advisor to help maybe look at the resume or professional profile?
There is a career center. I'm not sure what resume support they provide. Jacklyn, do you happen to know?
I actually don't know this by offhand, but I know I believe student services would be able to help with that too.
Okay, great. Awesome. Thank you. So let's move on to the question. What if I have to miss attending residency? Will I be in serious trouble? That would be a question for Leslie.
Right. It is serious trouble, but it depends why you're missing. If you provide a doctor's note, then it might be excused. If you communicate with your professor ahead of time, or if like you get a flat tire, you could provide some kind of proof of that. That would be fine. It's a case by case basis. If you do miss it, if your residency for work, it's not excused at all, and that would be serious trouble. So just communicate with the professor, email DSO, and we can communicate with the professor, and we'll figure it out. But it is a case by case situation. Just make sure you have proof if there's an issue.
Okay, thank you, Leslie.
Mhm.
Next one will be, how long do you recommend for me to apply for CPT? Do I need to stop working? I think that one you already spoken for. So
Yes.
yeah, typically you said the processing time for CPT application would be a little bit around 1 to 2 weeks. And
Yes.
typically people stop working for at least a week. since the civics transfer deadline is 1 week before, and we still need time to process the CPT application.
Right.
Okay, so 1 to 2 weeks. Thank you. How long is the transfer process? And that's from H1B to F1 for change of status.
That really varies. I would recommend really checking your USCIS case status frequently. Sometimes they give you more information than other times on the waiting period. I know when the government was shut down, the waiting periods did grow a little bit longer for adjudication. Sometimes it takes just a few months, sometimes longer. It really varies from case to case. I wish I could tell you something more specific.
I agree, Leslie. I've seen people waiting from as soon as 1 to 2 weeks to as long as almost a year, and they're still
Yeah.
waiting.
Yes.
After a year, they call me. I was like, "Oh, what? Hasn't it been changed already? You're still waiting for that?
Yeah.
That's insane."
Yes.
And many of them also do the premium processing. So if you do premium processing, I think you can get a result under 30 days, right?
Right. Premium processing is well worth it if you want a lot faster results. So you do pay for it, but it can be worth it.
It's $2,000, but it
Yeah.
can give you a result within 30 days. So
Yeah.
that's definitely something to consider. Do you recommend unpaid leave on the civics transfer date as well as while waiting for a CPT to click in? I think the answer would be yes, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, awesome. We just have a few more questions left. And the final reminder, everyone, if you have any question at all, please take the chance to put your question in the Q&A. We're doing a last call right here since our webinar is ending in 4 minutes. So next would be, do we prefer a new offer letter for CPT? Employers recommend you submit first current offer letter issued back in 2022, and then I think that's employment verification letter as an additional document. Is that okay?
This is perfectly fine. That is what most people do when they transfer and they've already been employed. So it's very run of the mill to do this. Perfectly fine.
Okay. So the letter from 2022 is okay.
Yes, as long as you have the employment verification letter, that's a new document. That's perfectly fine.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Next will be, what is the annual tuition? How long is the DBA program? If Jacklyn has that.
Yeah, I can answer that. The annual tuition, well, the total cost spread over 3 years is going to be 51,300. So annually, just to do, it'd be around 17,100. And then it does get billed quarterly. So like I said, tuition's always due on that first day of classes for each quarter. And you'll get that bill ahead of time.
And there are 3 quarters each year, right?
4 quarters each year.
Oh,
Yeah, so it'll be billed 4 quarters each year, and then the total program length is going to be 3 years. So, total cost of the program is going to be 51,300.
awesome. Thank you, Jacklyn.
Hi, Alice. Just 1 second. Jacklyn, just a note that for F1 students that we are keeping living costs in mind as well, insurance and housing. So the cost will bump up a little bit, but that's the tuition price. But just wanted to clarify that.
Thank you, Tania. Thank you. And the length of the DBA program you said is 3 years, right? The program length.
Yeah, the length will be 3 years total.
Okay, got it. So that would be like 12 quarters in total as well.
Yes.
Our question 24 today, please comment on whether to do a second master degree or the DBA. If we have to,
Right.
let's make a practice right here.
Right. I think that if you're looking long-term without having to explain yourself a lot, do the DBA. Right now, there's nothing wrong with a second master degree because nothing's been put into policy or put into law, but there are talks of it. Either way, even if it's never a lot, you can only do one master. It's good to think ahead and think, if I want a different visa at some point. How am I going to explain what I do to USCIS? So probably if you're looking long-term, go for the DBA. It just depends on your own considerations and your own educational goals.
Okay, thank you so much, Leslie. So long-term wise, you said DBA, and it's also tied to personal, like professional or academic growth planning. So next will be, is Day 1 CPT being considered to be canceled? Is it at risk? Will you advise Day 1 CPT second master or PhD? I think that's kind of elaboration of the
Right. Yes, Day 1 CPT it's being canceled as far as I know. If anything does come down to us and we're made aware of policies, we do let everyone know and we change our policy immediately, of course. I have not heard about that. It's just good to be aware of like I said, for the previous question, second master's or PhD. You might want to do the PhD instead, but there's nothing wrong with the second master's right now, as long as you can explain it later on to USCIS.
Thank you, Leslie. And next will be, do we have time to apply and enroll in a winter 2026 intake if the transfer takes 2 to 9 months? I think this person is doing a change of status most likely.
Well, just regarding the application itself, admissions is accepting applications for the winter term through December 8th. That'll be the last day you can apply online for the program, for any of our programs.
Okay, thank you so much. And last but not least today, our one last question, can you do CPT for the entire 3-year duration of the DBA program?
Yes, you can. The BIP course, which is the CPT course for DBA, is a required course for each term. So whether you do it full-time or part-time is a different question. If your goal is to do OPT or the STEM extension after your program is over, then you would want to do this part-time. However, you can do full-time, but just know that you wouldn't be able to do OPT afterwards if you exceed 12 months of full-time CPT. But it's perfectly fine to do CPT for the entire time.
Yeah, thank you so much, Leslie. And that's especially important for most of us that's going for your first doctoral program. You still have your OPT eligibility since it's one-time chance per higher level of degree study. But we kind of all need to weigh out whether you still would like to take that OPT or not. Since, as Leslie said, more than 1 year of full-time CPT usage will basically cancel and void your OPT eligibility. I do see people have a lot of confusion on that rule. How CPT affect OPT is that they thought that after 1 year it clocked back so they can do another year of full-time CPT. But that rule actually applies to the whole duration of the program.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, so cumulatively, you cannot exceed the 1 year rule for full-time CPT if you want to use your OPT. But if you're like, I don't care about OPT since it's only 1 year, or it's too long or ahead, you have such an amazing job offer right now, then I do see many people, they stay on their full-time CPT.
Right, that's correct. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, thank you both so much. And thank you, Tania, for joining us. That will be the end of the session today. And thank you all so much for joining us, our amazing team from Sofia and our amazing audience today. The recording of today's webinar will be sent to your email you used by signing up. And have a good night and happy Thanksgiving, happy holidays.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Bye, thank you.
Bye, thank you. Have a good one.